we're live. And this is the September public meeting for the 2026 budget, Sugar Creek Township, Clinton County board meeting. And we'll call a meeting to order at 7:05. And we'll have the reading of minutes from February 6th of 2025, which was our last meeting.
Meeting was called to order at 7:04. Trustee, clerk, and 3 board members present. Read and approved minutes from last meeting. Mark approved minutes. Louis seconded it. Signed the 2024 annual financial gateway report. All members signed and approved. No other business was discussed. We adjourned at 7:21. Louis made motion and Mark seconded.
I have a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
So first, we kind of talked, and everybody knows now that as of July 1st, all board meetings have to be live streamed. We did YouTube, and it's under Sugar Creek Township meeting. Is when you get on YouTube, that's what the channel would be under. We did pay $50 to have a guy to actually make the YouTube channel for us, because I'm not up on the YouTube stuff. So I thought $50. It was a high school kid. So we sat with him and he got this all set up for us. So that's how that is. But so this is the public meeting for the 2026 budget. I have in the stack of papers, you'll see your Form 1. This is what we've budgeted for 2026. I made a couple changes in it. We added a little bit more money, which we'll talk about. One of the reasons later is due to this capital improvement plan that we have to do. So in the stationery and office supplies, before we only had, in legal and accounting, we only had $900 budgeted before. So I've upped that to $1,500 because now there is more of that legal stuff that that the accountant has to do, and unfortunately costs money to do that. So the other thing was Social Security, what we have to pay our share of the Social Security. I upped it to $2,500. It was $2,200 last year, or this current year. Record books, I moved it to $1,000 from it was $400 last year. Basically, our book's starting to get filled up, so I'm going to have to order another one of them probably in the maybe not next year, but in a couple of years. So I want to get that budgeted in there. The official bond, I moved that up to $150 from $120. Unfortunately, everything's getting more expensive. The travel expenses, moved it to $250. It was $150. We've never used any of that, but it's in case we ever do, or in case you get another trustee that starts charging for travel. Trustee association, it went up to $200 last year, or this year. So I moved it to $250 in case they go up, because everything else is going up. So our total budget this year for general was $22,000. And then I left the others alone at, I believe they were still at $9,000 and $5,000 each. So that puts it at a total of $36,000 for the whole budget, which last year was $34,000. On the second page at the very bottom has the total for the whole unit's budget. With no public present, and we'll have, assuming, unless you guys have any comments or suggestions on that, or something you see needs changed. Also, I kept it the same as all the other years, so our lit shares and everything be 75%, or not the lit shares, but our tax draws that we get twice a year, 75% will go into general and 25% will go into cemetery. Because we're doing fairly well on all those. Nobody else has a comment?
Yeah, maybe.
So this one's just for the public, so we can't accept or do anything until the next meeting on September 30th is the date that we'll actually vote on whether we approve it or not. So yeah, this was just the meeting. If anybody public would have came and had questions, then we would have had to change things. So unless you guys are considered public too, if you had any comments or suggestions on it. But if not, we'll move to the next. We had an audit. Everybody knows about last year. Me and Mark sat through that. The cost was just short of $5,000
For the audit.
for the audit is what they took directly out of our tax draw. Here was 4,900 and some odd cents. I need to write that down and forgot about it.
Charge you for so much.
$4,995.50.
How do they figure that? You know,
I have no idea.
No idea.
It's just, I think as long as it takes them to do it, and we had 3 different auditors do ours this year. We had an intern, and then we had 2 others. The one we met with on the phone. I'm assuming it's whatever their hours are. I think that's, with our township size, it seems like it's been about average. I've talked to some, it's been $7,000 to $10,000 a day. So,
15%. Say, it's more than 10% of our budget.
yeah. Yeah.
We're
So,
going to say if we're doing it.
That doesn't sound like it makes a lot of
And
sense
then-
to do that.
so I'm still, I'm sorry, did you have it?
how many years do they audit?
Guaranteed every 4 years. If they find a lot of problems or like bigger townships, I believe they do it more often. But hopefully for us, it's every 4. So but it's guaranteed every 4 years. You're going to get audited at least.
And that's a private company doing those audits.
That's State Board of Accounts.
State, it's not a contract from the state.
No, but State Board of
It's
Accounts.
state.
Or that's who I've talked to is always people from the State Board of Accounts. That's probably their own little. They have their own division that does that. Because I'm assuming, your bigger townships, Marion County, stuff like that, probably get audited every year. I don't know that for sure. So the State Board of Accounts, I still haven't gotten satisfied on the internal control standards. I've sent them all of our board member meetings where we approved it, where we talked about it, where we signed on it, and they said it wasn't enough. I sent them our internal control standards where we signed it down here at the bottom with the date on there. The training that we all did, the video we watched, and then looking through that. So my next step is I got, luckily our accountant does the Michigan town also, so she knows a lot more. So now I have 16 pages that I'm going to fill out and sign, and then hopefully by next meeting, I'll get this all filled out and done, and then we can vote on this, that you guys approve this internal control standard. So I don't know if, at one point I thought it was done, so then they hit me up and said we were late on it, that we were negligent, so I sent them all them other paperwork again, and they just came back again and said that wasn't sufficient, and so this has been going on since December of last year. So we might get, or I might get put on some list is what they said, so I'm not having it correct. So if I do, they maybe fire me so somebody else can do it. So, but it was the certification on internal control standards and internal control standards developed and adopted was the 2 things. So, I'm going to try to get that hopefully by next meeting, and I'll send those 16 pages to them, and hopefully that.
We're not actually doing anything wrong.
No, it's just, yeah, they don't like, I guess, the way that we did it or the way I did it. They have their own set of standards per se that
But they didn't choose to send that to you first to say this is what.
they never send it to me at all. It's something I just have to look up. But so now we'll get on the big topic. The House Bill 1, not sure how familiar you guys are with it. I didn't really want to be, but I'm a lot more into it now. So this packet here talks a little bit about the basis for the capital improvement fund.
I think we've got that.
You don't have one of those?
This one?
Yeah. Did I give you one?
Oh, this one.
Capital improvement fund?
Maybe I printed off a different one too. It's the same as this one here. So
Oh,
it's just mine. I think I printed them off at different
Same
times.
as this one?
Yeah. So maybe I didn't print off enough for.
no, here it is, house.
So basically the gist of it, we have to, every year we have to do this capital improvement fund. It has to be submitted by September 30th to the state or to the DLGF, or you get a 0 on your tax levy for the following year. From what I've got out of it, I know when we've been talking about it, we first started talking about it, our reps really weren't even up to date on it. They weren't sure how it's going to work. So they've been emailing and we've been learning a little more. And then that's why I got a hold of our accountant. She drew it all up. So that way if something's wrong, then it's, I guess, on her. But that's what, there's another stapled packet that has 4 pages on it. Mine's in color. But this is actually the capital improvement plan that we're going to do. As long as you guys okay it. You can go out all the way to, for, it's 20 years, or 30 years, actually, I think you can go out 20 years, I believe. And all it is if you have unrestricted funds, basically just in our general fund and our rainy day fund, if you have unrestricted, meaning you don't have it budgeted for anything, at the end of 26, whatever those funds are, and it's not in a capital improvement plan, we have to write a check to somebody in the government for 30% of that amount.
For the annual, not for the balance,
No, out of the balance.
out of the balance.
So like, right now we have, in our general, we have $95,042.07. We have budgeted out of that 20,000. So that would be 75,000 if we don't do this capital improvement plan the way it is. We would have to write a check for 30% of $75,000. And that goes to state for road improvement. That's what they're considering it. And that's just out of general. Our rainy day, we've never used anything out of it. It's set at $5,348 since I've taken over. I don't know how long it was in there before. But we've never taken any out of it or put any in it. So,
So can they take that too?
yes,
Rainy, they
yes, rainy day, because
take any.
the only ones they can't take it out of is we don't have a fire team fund. We don't have fire department, so we can't have. So they can't take it out of that, and they can't take it out of your poor relief or your cemetery. So we're safe on those funds because we do have a little bit extra from what we budgeted. Cemetery, we're setting $26,615.95, and public assistance, we're at $58,009.82. Any given year, we might spend $1,000 out of public assistance. That's why I've never had any money going into that. And we can only use that for public assistance. So it don't make any sense to put any more money in it, even though we have to do this plan.
But some year you might hit, some that might.
Yeah, somebody,
Take it out.
I think we've had one family, it was on electric bill, it was like $1,000 we paid out this year so far total.
I remember years ago, there was a couple of families that
And it was actually, their lights were shut off and
drew quite a bit.
the kids just got on the bus kind of thing. So the way I actually asked her to write it up, hopefully you guys agree with it. So you have to, these are all estimates, so it's not really, because we have to estimate how much we're gonna have in each fund all the way. We're budgeted, this capital improvement plan is budgeted out to 2035. The last page has the amounts, and the only thing that we can use is fire territory equipment, because that's the only thing we have. We don't have a building, we don't have vehicles, we don't have anything. So actually, that one there, Matt. Yeah, should be the last page is what the actual amounts are. The top page is the general fund. The second page is a rainy day. The third page is how we've got it marked down to what we would actually owe, as long as this gets approved. And so basically we have estimated for December 31st of 2026, we're going to have 95,748 in the overall budget. So that's why if you look at this paper, we've got like 10,000 budgeted each year for fire equipment.
That's it.
Oh,
Okay.
it cut some of
Yeah,
it off.
at all.
Sorry. So
So it's clear to 20, 30.
2035 is what we took it out to. That way, to get it down to where, that way our money's earmarked for something. So they can't take it. So as long as it's marked in here, and it don't, everything I've read, the way we understand it, I've talked to a few of the other trustees, we don't have to spend that money. It just has to be earmarked for something. So it's not,
So that covers with everything else that covers.
and yeah. So if we do spend it, which, I mean, it's getting to the point, I mean, if we don't start spending, they're gonna figure out a way to take the money.
I think we need to budget in there at least inflation rate,
Yeah,
annual inflation rate on what we're doing now.
just start
10
out with
years,
everything. Yeah.
That's right.
10% every year, or whatever it is.
So yeah, we can do that. We're just sitting right now with our budget. He said when I had our meeting, our budget meeting, if we spend everything that we budgeted for next year, we're still going to come out ahead $3,238. So that's what money's not. We've got it budgeted, and I mean, you always know that something can come up. It already has this year.
So you
We'll
got
probably have to do a
acquisition.
reappropriation this year, just for some other things that's came up. So that's, and then cemetery, that's just in general. In cemetery, we would come ahead $595. That's just a tentative. He just punching numbers in. If we spend every dime that we budgeted for both those accounts, then with the 75 going into general and the 25 from our taxes, we would be that much ahead next year.
Yeah, like I say, I think every year here on, ought to at least have that calculation in.
So the way it's set up now, basically on this paper here is what we would, she's got everything budgeted out, or we have everything budgeted out on that blue paper, to where we're going to have, in general, there's going to be $748 that's not accounted for, and there's going to be $348 in a rainy day fund that's not accounted for. So we would pay the state $328 or $329, or what, whoever that fund goes to. It's supposed to stay, the way I read it, the way it's been described to us, and I can send you some links if you want them to see, or I'm sure it's on, get on internet and type in House Bill 1, but
So if we lay this budget out for 10 years
yeah.
and we come up short, how do you ask for more money?
Well, we don't have to spend this money. So we shouldn't, I mean, the money just has to be earmarked in case for something. So right now, the fire territory, me and Larry Miller is the township trustee of Warren Township. He actually got a hold of the DLGF reps and talked to them, and because he's in a fire territory. So he said, as long as you're in a fire territory, you can mark it as fire territory equipment. And that's the only thing we have, because if we don't mark it as that, then basically we're just giving them the money. The state's just going to take the money.
This is money that we already have.
Yes, yeah, that's money that we have.
We're just allocating for it.
And each year you have to, yeah. Basically, it's because, like I said, we're sitting on $75,000 in general that's not earmarked for anything, and that's the money they're going after. So by
I thought we were talking about the budget.
no, this has nothing to do with the budget.
And
So by approving this, that's where the DLGF's going to look at it as we only have $348 in rainy day fund that's not earmarked for anything, and we have $748 that's not earmarked for anything. And that's what they would get their 30%, which is the $104 and the $224, which equals $329 that at the end of 26. I'm assuming they'll tell us at that point then who we're going to write that check to. But I would rather write a $329 check versus, you guys can keep that if you want, or use it the year. Sorry, I didn't realize it cut it off. That would,
That makes-
instead of writing them a check for $40,000.
You're all 10,000.
Well, no.
There's one at the bottom, I think.
It's earmarked for.
And see, there's some of them are rainy day, like the $1,000 ones are rainy day, coming out of the rainy day fund. The 10,000, I believe, are coming out of the general. And so some of them are the same year on there. And if you see, it's the same year, there'll be, one's gonna be rainy day and one's gonna be general.
Oh, I see, there you go.
I can make you copies before you leave, but if you want a copy of that
Got the
part.
zeros off of that one. Got the big number on there.
So as long as you guys.
So we have
This
capital
is-
improvement plan of our savings.
Yes.
I wasn't quite picking up on that. I thought it was-
So-
If we didn't spend it, they would take it.
This is, it says, be it resolved that a public hearing was held to adopt a capital improvement plan as required by Indiana Code Section 36-6-9 for Sugar Creek Township, Clinton County. The plan is duly adopted by the following vote of the members of the Township Board on 11 September of 2025. So if you guys agree to it, then put your name on one of those 3 lines and then I'll sign it at the bottom.
Do we need a motion on that?
Just sign it.
No,
This,
Oh, that's the one. This or that?
no, Louis needs to.
I move that we suspend the rules for a second meeting, and I move that we pass the resolution. Send them that document.
Okay, we have a motion and then we have a second.
Yeah, I
Louis.
make a motion, we approve.
Mark, motion. Matt, second.
And the state has to approve this.
Yes, I just got an email today telling me that I hadn't sent this in yet and that I needed to get it sent in as soon as possible. But it has to be in by the 30th. So, I mean, I either denied or I'll either hit the button tonight or I'll hit it tomorrow morning. So, it'll be in. Yeah, that way if something is wrong, but the problem is it was in the paper. Wait a second. No, we can't do that yet. No. I'm ahead of myself. Sorry. So we can't sign that yet because this was just to go over this to tell you guys about it. I remember I sent you an email. It was just in the paper. We have to advertise this for 10 days. So House Bill 1, the capital improvement plan, the meeting is going to be set for September 22nd of 2025 at 7 p.m. Sorry, I got way ahead of myself. Just too many things going on this, but it's on your minutes or the date and everything's on the agenda paper. So we have to advertise it. So it was advertised in the paper on Wednesday, with Frankfurt's paper only coming every other Wednesday. So this will be, you guys can take that home, review it, look at it. And then it'll be open to the public so the public can come. That's why it had to be published in the paper. If anybody in the public's got a problem with it or don't like it or do like it, then we have to talk about that. Then we'll have to do the move it, or we'll have to make the motion and second it on that. So sorry about all that confusion there. This is like the most I think we've ever done in our board meeting.
What time do you say?
7 p.m. Yeah. It should be on whatever. It's right here.
Well, if the governor's gonna watch this video,
Yeah.
he might be YouTubing it.
There you go.
Yeah, I need to pause that another one because I already wrote on that one.
Careful of all.
All right, so, all right, is there any other questions on that? Now, the cost of that was expensive. It was $800 to have this done, and it's, I forget, it took her about 3 or 4 days to do it. And that was across, I talked to a guy in
To make
Kokomo.
the CIP plan.
Yeah, the guy in Kokomo was $800 too. So I just thought, since we already have an accountant, we might as well stick with ours. So I didn't get a hold of you guys beforehand. I wasn't expecting it to be that much right off the bat. She was already working on it by the time I got the price, and so It's- it's one of those that, now maybe next year, I'm sure next year probably won't cost as much because it's basically all she's got to do is add a year to it. Maybe put a couple different numbers in there and then we'll go from that for next year. Because this is, as of now, it's every year has to be done. One more thing added to it.
So it's due every year.
By September 30th. So it's just now we actually kind of know what we need. And I don't know how quick we can put it in for the year. So I don't know if we have to wait till after July 1st and then we can submit it. We can start working on it. Because the whole plan came out in that House Bill 1, which came out July 1. So that's why everybody we talked to was all kind of in a rush because nobody really even knew what all this was about. They sent 3 or 4 or 5 different templates before we could figure out one to print out and that we could actually go by. They sent videos out to tell us how to do it.
Oh, I suppose all these bigger townships, this is necessary, but on our size and scale.
I think what it is,
awful
personally, it's
large
just,
expense.
they see we got money in the account and they want it.
For what it is. They're a lot of money as for what this is.
So, all right. So any other questions on the capital improvement plan until September 22nd? Then we'll do all the other stuff on September 22nd at that meeting. All right. So that one's done. Okay. So on here, right, I said something earlier, we might have to do a reappropriation of funds for our general. A lot of that's going to be dependent on this next question or the next subject down here. But with the extra expenses and the legal and accounting that we've had this year, with the capital improvement plan and stuff that I didn't have budgeted in there. So hopefully by either the September meeting, the 22nd meeting, or the 30th, I'll have all the numbers of what we spent so far in general and what we've got left to spend. Our biggest, of course, December is always our biggest month with salaries and, the 4-H and everything else, all the other bills. So I'll have that estimated of what we're going to spend because I think the reappropriation has to be done before November 1st if we do one. I think is the date. But so tonight's meeting, so the legal and accounting, we had budgeted $900. Her doing the taxes was actually $100 cheaper. I think she quoted us at $600 and they only charge us $500. So we've spent $500 and then this $800 that came out of that. So we've spent $1,300. The good thing it's in general, so we can, from last year's to this year's, or from last year's, we can move some funds that we haven't used yet. So we need to at least put $500 more in the legal and accounting. And we can do that. We can just transfer that in a meeting here because it's going from general. It's not coming out of any other funds. So we just, basically what I'm asking, if somebody would move $650 from the stationery and office supplies. We budgeted $1,230 on that. We've only spent $128.21 out of it.
I got a question. When we get down here talking about the fire equipment, is it coming out of a different fund?
It'll come out of general, so that's why we're probably not going to have. Normally, I have a couple hundred or a couple $1,000 cushion, like what we stated earlier is going to be like $3,500. That's why I've got to do some numbers to see if we approve giving them the $2,500 for the fire equipment, where that's going to put us on our overall budget, because we got to stay within. What was the budget for?
And they get our money directly from the state, from this township already anyway.
Yes, and yeah, good thing you brought that up. I got something else to talk about on that. So, basically, this is just to get this one here to move this $650 is just to get the legal and accounting back up because we're already $500 less than what we budgeted, or we spent $500 more than what we budgeted for it. So I need to move that money from, like I said, stationery. We budgeted $1,230, and we only spent $128 so far.
Okay, well, I'll move to transfer those funds numbers. What do you think, Bill? For the numbers?
Yeah, so that's $650 from the stationary office budget, is gonna go to the legal and accounting budget. So Louis made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Mark second. And that's that's all we have to do is it has to be on here, it has to be in our meeting minutes. And, that's be marked on this paper, the general fund. I don't have to transfer it anywhere else. But now we can't take money out of cemetery fund and move it to general or anything like that. We'd have to do a reappropriation of funds on that one. So that is, talked about that. So by the 22nd or 30th, I will have your answers as far as if we're going to have to do a reappropriation, which last time I did that when I very first took over, because somehow we didn't get budgeted for anything that year. And with us having the money we have in the accounts, normally they're going to just approve it. So I got to fill out a paper. It's got to be advertised that we're wanting a reappropriation. As long as nobody comes back griping about it or saying anything about it, then it'll just be approved. So
Why are we gonna have to do that?
that's part of the State Board of Accounts. That's if we give this. So we'll go ahead and go on to the Kirkland territory. Talking about the fire truck.
Incorporate that into this year's budget.
Yeah, they. Too many papers up here. I had them send it. It's Mississippi Deep South fire trucks. So it was just extra equipment on the fire truck. And then like I said, it's supposed to be here in October, middle of October. So whenever he gets a firm date, whenever Mike gets a firm date, it's coming. I'll let everybody know so they can come up and look at it.
We can't pay for that out of capital improvement.
Not this year because I don't know. That'd be a question I can ask.
Well, I mean, I don't, if we
Because
got
I don't
the money
know-
to do the reappropriation, that's fine.
Yeah, because I guess, is there anything? So see, we're going to do this. This capital improvement is not until 26.
But they take effect.
Yeah. So that's why so that would be the question. The problem there is that we don't actually have a capital improvement fund yet. We don't have any money in that capital improvement fund. So
Be hard to spend money out there.
September 22nd, if we get it approved, you guys vote on it, we approve it.
This should come out from general.
Yeah, this is going to come just out of our general fund. And Mike sent me some pictures. I did not get them printed off, unfortunately. He also sent
No, I suppose it's necessary.
the total bill for the truck is
Sounds like we might
$459,750.
Let the state give it to them.
And then on top of that's what their invoice was, and then they found some things they forgot after they got the truck building, and then that's why they want to know if we could. I mean, they did spend quite a bit of money on it,
Yeah.
and,
That's fair to me.
but there's
You guys can pay that for the Kirkland Fire Department stickers to go on the truck. That's probably cost the sticker.
so that there's
hurting.
Oh, yeah.
Sharpsville has a truck. That's actually Sharpsville's truck there,
No.
and it's identical to it. It's a complete sister truck. Same company built it. I guess you guys, that's the pump panel. You guys probably aren't interested in that. It just feels, and then some of the cabinets. So it's going to be able to haul. They're going to be able to use it for quite a bit of things. So the biggest thing is the tanker that's up there now is pretty well shot. Personally, I wouldn't even trust them driving it, but they still do.
Got some age on it.
Do I?
Got some age on it.
It's got a lot of age. It's basically a trash pump on it. So they can't really pump water. I mean, most tankers anymore, they either got a PTO pump built into them or they have a actual water pump in them. A lot of fires anymore, we just pump right, instead of setting the big tanks like you guys had seen before, they can pump right out of that truck into the engine. Or if they have to, they can pump the water into those tanks and they can be moving a lot quicker. So it's going to definitely help. Plus it's 2,500 gallons. A rural setting,
No, we were getting really.
yeah, need a lot of water.
I've been one of their biggest customers the past couple of years.
So basically that's,
Asking if-
well, we're not gonna write a check or anything until the truck's here. So basically it'd be if you guys approve it, I need a motion and a second on it. If you guys approve it, then Matt made a motion.
I'll second.
What else did I want to talk about? There's that. Other paper. Hold on, print that one. I already printed it off. I knew I was gonna mess something up.
That brought something up too, that reminded you of something. I don't usually.
Oh, the money. I went to the courthouse the other day,
Money is,
and I was trying to ask them how much money Sugar Creek Township sends to actually pays every year for fire territory. I said I want to make sure we're paying. I mean, Darren can't tell me. Kirkland's trustee. For some reason, he don't know how. He don't know. It don't show up. So I went up there and went to the auditor's office, which is the one that sends all this
in the
stuff.
county.
Yeah, up at the courthouse. And she told me, she brought some papers out and she pointed at some figure that was like a .085. And she said, it's somehow figured off that number there. She said, but it's over my pay grade. I have no clue.
So our property taxes go to the state for the fire,
Well,
and then it comes from there back to the fire territory.
I don't know. It's something to do in the budget. All their little numbers that they've got in there.
It never leaves the county then.
Yeah.
The money.
So, but I can't get we pay $2,000, we pay $10,000. I can't get any kind of number of what we actually spend. So if anybody happens to know anybody to talk to on that, because like I said, auditors is the one that does all that. And she told me, she goes, this here number here is what they base it off of.
Who are you talking to again?
The number two, well, I can't think of her name.
It's not the auditor, so.
No, I've never been able to get to talk to her. I ask them I tell them what I want, and then they always hollered I can't think of her name.
And she says it's above her pay
Yeah. Or above her knowledge. So, so I don't know if that could be State Board of Account or DLGF or somebody makes that number somehow. And
I suppose 0.08 of
Well, there's,
assessed value.
I can't remember, I assume it's on your tax bill, how much it goes to the fire. What percentage?
I would have thought that it would have been on Darren's that Sugar Creek Township is, earmarked this much money and Kirkland Township's this much money.
On
But
those statements, it's kind of broke down where
Yeah,
everybody's
it is,
supposed to
but
go.
that
so-
would tell us how much we're paying. It
Yeah.
doesn't tell how
It's
much.
never
How
even-
much the entire
How much
township pays.
they're ending up with.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe.
I just always assumed we ended up with all.
You
of
wanna
it.
go door to door?
That's okay.
Well, like directly, gotta pass through us.
Yeah,
I
that's
got that many
directly
friends.
all of them, but maybe somebody keeps part of it on the way
I
there.
don't know. I just hate to get hit here in 5 years, saying you guys haven't paid for it.
But I did make sure that she did say that we are paying something. I know that much. She goes, as long as there's a number in this category, she pointed to it. So the next time I get an itemized, and I know the paper that she's talking to, and I never printed it off. I didn't think we needed it, but evidently we do now. So I will print that off and see if there's a way I can figure it out, but probably not. I probably won't be able to, but maybe somebody else will be able to show me, or one of the meetings I go to with State Board of Accounts, maybe one of them people
At
will be
least
able
they're
to
getting it.
tell me.
Well, yeah, that's my concern.
But that was mine, because I said, because I kept asking Darren, and he said, I can't tell you how much. So I said, well, I want to make sure that we are paying and that we're legal on that part of it, because we have to pay for fire territory.
We want to pull out of that territory and go to another one.
We're
They're
paying,
gonna-
you're paying, we're paying, you just want to make sure it was getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're
But
paying.
we're paying individually.
Yeah,
It's the
individually,
township.
we're paying.
Yeah, we just want to make sure the township was covered under that. So, Kirkland's still going to cover us, but
Yeah, but they don't know what we're paying or not. That would be bad.
all right. Is there any other business? I kind of threw a lot out there.
A little bit. Yeah.
Like I said, September 22nd, we'll do the capital improvement. We'll go over that again, and then that's when we will have the vote on it. And then September 30th at 7 o'clock will be the budget approval, hopefully approval. If no other business, we'll have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second. And